Okay, welcome back. I said I was going to be completely transparent with you. So, day 24, and we need to talk about, again, the business being a mirror. The energy of this entire show has shifted over the last few days. Certainly the energy I'm putting onto YouTube has shifted in the last few days, and I am energized, but I need to keep leaning into this radical transparency. By the way, thanks for joining. I'm Erin, communications consultant, and this is what I want you to hear today. I regularly sell programs, mentorship, coaching, production packages worth tens of thousands of dollars. I will do 6 figures in a month. And at the start of this transmission series, at the start of October, I thought, you know what would be awesome is if I run my first group mentorship container in 3 or 4 years, price it ridiculously affordable for the level of intentionality and presence and mentorship and experience that I bring to my groups. And let's freaking go. I called it the embodied visibility lab. Let's take our visibility and embody it. And I'm going to teach you how. And we're going to go through this 10-week experience with integration, with conversation, with action items, with finding these blocks and learning how to strategically work through them. But it's all in the name of being experimental, right? I've always called it an experiment. So this is why I am being fully transparent with you right now. And I'm actually struggling with this, as you can hear. This is hard for me. I said at the outset, pie in the sky would be we get 10 people signed up for the program and we start November 24th. It is currently October 24th, which is why I'm giving you this update because it's a month to go. I have 2 people. My base limit, my absolute minimum is 6. So my best was 10 or 12. My minimum is 6 to make this go. So far, I have 2. And this gap between interest and enrollment is teaching me something in real time that I probably should have known from the beginning. I said this off the top. I've said this in other episodes. Your business is a mirror. And what this is showing me right now is that this is an exact pattern that I have been helping clients with for years that was happening in my own business that I couldn't see for myself over the last few weeks. So here's what I'm seeing. Here's what I'm seeing specifically with this offer. The Embodied Visibility Lab, the 10-week program that runs you through the process of unpacking where in your business your clarity needs to come from. Setting yourself on your own rhythmic system to show up in a way that feels good. Not my system. I'm not going to tell you to do what I do. We're going to unpack what works for you, where your clarity needs to lie. And we're going to use the strategies that I have developed over years to help you embody that and feel safe and feel awesome. But here's what I'm seeing. People are interested. I'm getting questions. They say it sounds perfect for them. And then they don't sign up. And I'm going to use a rather harsh term. I'm going to call it an excuse. The excuse comes in 2 kind of flavors. There's the energetic excuse, which is, this isn't the right time for me. I don't feel ready. I'm going to wait. I need to think about it. They'll let me see how the next few months goes. And then I'll come back to you and maybe I'll be ready to do this. These are the folks who are truly, if I am being your coach right now, they're refusing to accept the invitation because their nervous system won't let them move. And then there's the other side, the money excuse, the money objection, the I can't afford this right now. I need to see again how this quarter goes, maybe when things are more stable. And listen, I have priced this again below $2,000. It is a fraction, and I'm saying that like so honestly, a fraction of what it costs to work with me one-to-one. It is a fraction of what it costs to work with me as a strategist and consultant, or a fractional. It is a fraction of my fractional. I sell strategic consulting that costs tens of thousands of dollars. I sell organizational story-based communication systems and production packages at Story Studio Network that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And those sell. But for some reason, this doesn't. So here's what I see is that the price isn't actually the problem. There's something else happening here. My business is a mirror. So here's what I missed. This is what I think. My current theory, my thesis is that I have never in the history of my business ever felt comfortable enough directly tying what it is that I do to financial abundance. I have always felt a block there. I have worked with coaches who told me I couldn't do that. We can talk about that later. I have felt a block around it. No, I'm in communications. I don't talk about money. Communications doesn't create money. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I have just never felt safe in my own body. Ooh, and I can actually feel this in my face right now, so I know I'm onto something. Tying this work to financial abundance. This is why I think, me talking more about Coast Fire, slow freedom, founder-led freedom, and financials, and the stories we tell ourselves are all connected. And this is why I am moving toward this with this channel. I kept positioning financial abundance as an adjacent outcome. Like, do this embodied visibility work and you're going to feel better. You're going to show up more authentically. You're going to build confidence. And oh, by the way, your business will expand. For so long, I was making wealth just this side effect that other people get to talk about and that other people get to tie to their value instead of a baked in energetic requirement. This is what happens. You do this, your business expands. And yes, that involves financials. And here's the truth. Building somatic capacity doesn't just make you feel better. It makes you wealthier. The ability to tolerate visibility and hold your expansion, to stay in your body when opportunities show up. That's not adjacent to financial growth. That is the mechanism for financial growth. But I was way too afraid to say that for some reason. I had been pushing that down and saying, no. In the newsroom, we don't talk about money. We don't sell advertising. I mean, even this could go back to when I was a journalist. There was a distinct wall between the creators, the storytellers, and the people who make the money and pay the bills. And I had that in me, except I want to bust that wall down because the wall is a story. It is a choice. This work generates wealth. Building capacity in your visibility and your embodiment and how you communicate is a direct pathway to abundance. So what's so interesting to me is that because I kept this money conversation quiet because I didn't want to sound like I was promising something I couldn't guarantee, because I can't guarantee how much money you're going to make. That's crazy town. I can't even guarantee when that money is going to be made. But I can guarantee that if you do this work, you will expand. So I made it instead more about nervous system regulation and embodiment and all of these kind of pithy, esoteric things. And I used all this therapeutic language. And guess what happened is that I attracted a bunch of people that wanted the healing, but weren't able to safely connect it to their also desire for revenue. And so both of those blocks showed up as objections in my business. I don't feel safe with this language. I'm going to wait till I feel safe. Not right now. That's not objection. And I don't have the money for this. That's the clear objection. Okay, well, they're not making the connection to this is the money. Isn't that interesting? The business mirrored back exactly what I was offering, which was a lack of clarity on the value of this program, the energetic misfires, and the money objections, because I wasn't clear about what this lab is actually designed to do. So the proof for me is that I had to go back to what I know to be true, which is that there are people paying me tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're not paying me for strategy alone. They're paying because they have the capacity to invest in a way that feels safe. They can tolerate the discomfort of a big decision. Their system can hold the expansion. That's the difference. It's not really their bank account. It is their tolerance level and their capacity level. So when I priced this program under $2,000 and then I tried to help the people who need it the most, what was super interesting as well is that I found myself like obsessively working harder to prove the value than I have ever had to work with a $100,000 plus contract. Because I was trying to convince people whose systems currently, through no fault of their own, aren't necessarily wired to make those connections. And I never gave them that clear pathway so that they could, have a moment of clarity and think, oh, wait a minute. No, this does make sense to me. I thought I was being accessible, and what I ended up being was like incredibly unclear. Isn't that fascinating? I mean, this is what I do for a living. And I fall victim to this. So this is why I'm showing you. This was a bit of a me stubbing my toe. This is like me cutting my nose off to spite my face. So it's also a pattern that I see in creative businesses all the time where people undercharge for things that would actually transform their client's capacity. And then they wonder why it doesn't sell. They wonder why their business feels like a drag. Or they position their extremely transformational work as just simply personal development instead of the literal foundation for financial growth. And they attract people who want to feel better, but can't ever connect that feeling to their revenue. And so they stay stuck, especially women, because we know the stats, 88% of women entrepreneurs will make less than $100,000 a year forever. Then they build both the business owner and the client end up frustrated because nothing ends up landing and nothing ends up working. Your business is always showing you where your own clarity ends. And mine actually just showed me that I have been way too afraid to directly name what this work that I do actually does, which is build your capacity to hold visibility, to create expansion and clarity, which opens a direct pathway to abundance. The beauty comes when you stay regulated in order to receive it for long enough. So here's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to get way more direct about the financial piece. I've already said that a few episodes back when I make this shift at the end of the month, and I'm planning this out intentionally. So it's going to take me a little bit, but I'm hoping to come out with some new content the first week of November. I've got the last few episodes of the transmission series kind of planned in my head, but then we're going to really start talking about how does this create money? How do I create money? How do I let it flow so you can see how this works? I'm not going to pivot to like money mindset and manifestation. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to show you through the lens of, financial independence, retire early. That's my goal. So I'm going to speak through that lens, how my business and my ability to hold expansion is actually helping me hit that freedom goal. So you can start to see that. I'm also going to rethink what this offer is, this embodied visibility lab. If this episode is making you realize, oh shit, I actually do need this, then get in touch because I still would really very much like to run it with the right group of people. And there's clearly lots of space. And anyone who has already signed up, I've said this already, if this doesn't fill, then you're going to get some one-on-one time with me for a song. And it's going to be awesome. No matter what, it's going to be awesome because I'm committed to delivering what I know I can deliver. What I need to get more committed on is being clear about what that is. So I'm trusting that when I get clear that the right people are going to show up because your business is a mirror. What is yours showing you? Because mine showed me exactly where I was still hiding.